sorry, please continue.
You want to improve your horse piece, which is the knight on e8.
Right.
What is the plan? If I hand you this knight,
Yeah.
and you can put it somewhere
C4.
on the board. C4 would be great, but it's just so far away from it.
It's not easy to get there. One thing for sure, I mean, I wouldn't even look at it besides the fact I'm blundering upon this structure. I mean, with this knight on F5 is just overwhelming. Strategically, I think that's just gone. Nice to use your trump. Your trump, of course, is your queenside majority. Nice to use them. They're not actually going anywhere. And I see the pawn on b5 as being more vulnerable.
And he's playing the move rook b7.
Sidestepping bishop e5, hoping maybe to get in these moves a5 and b4. Okay, I like that move. I think that move.
I think you're just going to remain with the knight on e8 passive. I think rook b7 is a strong indication of that, because now if the knight ever moves, knight f5 comes with a tempo, threatening knight d6 and forking the rooks.
Right.
So I think this knight is going to be stuck on e8 for some time. Okay. He's saying, no problem, I'm super solid on the king side anyway. The knight can stay there, no problem. I'm going to push my pawns on the queen side meanwhile, trying to distract white about enough to be able to create some progress. Where's white's plan here? I would start pushing on the king side at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say h4,
h4 calls my
g4,
attention, yeah.
king g3, and you got your queen side. Pardon me, you got your queen side majority. I've got my king side majority. Let's rock and roll. The other thing, though, that I find really attractive from white's point of view is this open d file. I'd love to exploit it. Just rook d1 and rook d7 doesn't bring home the bacon. I'm trading rooks and then playing rook c7. If I'm going to exploit the d file, I'm going to have to get rid of the knight on e6. To get rid of the knight on e6, I'm going to have to play f4, f5.
That's not an easy thing to do. Right? Some work to do. We like Wesley's position, but it's not an overwhelming advantage the way that we think Grischuk is just winning his game,
right,
as well as Aronian. But let's go to Romania with the action there.
Thank you, Alejandro. Yes, this is exactly the game that I want to talk about with Almira, the one between Grischuk and Lupulescu. We were discussing this at the beginning of the broadcast when we had Irina on the show. She was mentioning that Grischuk's wife actually played this position with the white pieces, so they definitely analyzed it together. Grischuk has some experience in this. Nevertheless, Lupulescu, I actually played against him with the white pieces in this variation, and he just obliterated me off the board. This was like maybe 15 years ago. He still has this in his repertoire, which is quite interesting 15 years later. Definitely a lot of experience there. But after bishop takes f6, g takes f6, we see this very interesting structure. White decided to sacrifice the bishop pair, the dark square bishop, which is a hugely important bishop, to destroy the black pawn structure on the king side. We see these double pawns, f7 and f6. White is going to try to stabilize that pawn structure, as we see in the next few moves after the move f5, provoke either e5 or allow me to take on e6 and then create the weakness on e6. Very, very complex position. Nevertheless, to be honest, I never understood it that well. Almira, have you understood this position before?
Oh, actually, I've studied it. This is one of the reasons why I never play the open Sicilian, but I wanted to tell you that in this position, it occurred to me that no one actually asked the question that after knight e2, why can't I take on e4? No?
That's a very good question.
This is a very interesting move, but this is not the move in the spirit of the position, because you want to close the e-file, so you won't get under the attack. So here white actually has a lot of choices. The first one being like f takes c6, f takes c6, queen f4, and with like huge initiative, f5, knight g3. And as you can see, it would be not so easy for black to castle. Another interesting move after bishop e4 would be knight g3.
Absolutely.
Yes, so then I think I wanted to draw your attention that here I was actually questioning this move, bishop b5. I really think that this is a very big positional mistake to exchange these light square bishops, and I would prefer like in this position to play king e7 actually, with the idea of playing bishop a6 next, h6 next.
This looks like a much better option, preserving the bishop pair. He played the move bishop to b5, allowing the exchange of the bishops, and right now Grishuk just has a tremendous advantage. But let's go to the studio because I think one of the players might be repeating. We might get the result very soon. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Almira and Christian. We thought that Levon might be shaking hands, but it now appears as if MVL and Fabi, who have been repeating the moves back and forth, bishop f4 attacking the queen on h6. Fabi has moved his queen from h6 to c6. We then saw bishop to f4 to e5, and the players have been repeating back and forth. Draw in the offing, it would appear.
Yeah, I think at this point both players realize that there are not that many resources to play with. Both kings in some ways weak. You can see the bishop on e5 threatening checkmate.
Okay.
King on g1 simply never gets better. It's not a huge surprise that such a position ends objectively in some sort of draw. And I think that they're about to, they're about to call the arbiter. Queen c6 would be a threefold repetition. And that's all she wrote.
Strange prep by MVL.
Strange
for
game
this.
overall.
Yeah, I mean, because
Strange
so much
round.
of they
Strange
can't find an arbiter.
You would
Arbiter's on break. Arbiter
You would
has
think that when there's
time
5 games of chess, there's always
So
one
we've got
arbiter available.
Two arbiters. To
And they
cover
found
for
one.
you. Oh, I was about to say, I mean, the arbiter has his timeouts as well as he's confirming that Queen c6 is his intended move, 3-time repetition.
It's like they found all the arbiters.
Now everybody's confirming.
And I don't know why they make him play the move, but whatever.
Yes.
Queen c6 on the board, the arbiters give the okay. That's a threefold repetition. And that is the first result of the day. MVL against Fabiano Caruana split the point. Topsy-turvy game, strange preparation there by MVL, basically forgetting his line, mixing up his cables. And Fabi, unable to finish him off. It was this deep calculation with the move Queen f6 that we were taking a look at. We thought that would have given excellent winning chances, if not just winning the game outright. And, well, it's not been a good tournament for these two players. Yes, Fabi played that great game against Lupulescu, but he got crushed against Wesley. Didn't really find chances. In a great game. Didn't find chances against anybody else. I don't think Fabi's the type of player that's happy at 50%. I think he's going to be disappointed after 6 rounds.
He's the number 2 rated player in the world. I mean, he comes into every event expecting a plus score of himself.
Absolutely, and he's not achieved it so far. In MVL, what can we say? 1 loss, 5 draws. Also not the tournament that he wanted to look at.
But I'll draw your attention to this position. I mean, it looks spectacular. There's been a piece sacrifice. There's a second piece on offer. White's king is exposed. But in truth, this whole position has been played before by Fabiano against Lanier, something MVL would have known very well. MVL plays this move f4, knight takes. It takes quite some time to play what we think is a dubious move, rook g5, and after f5, he's in a very dubious position. So you think to yourself, what kind of preparation did MVL have? Well, I'm sure we're going to go to Romania and ask the players where their preparation ended, because we have so many questions about this game. What do you have for us, Maurice? Oh, you're setting up. It looks like you're getting that Sasha's killing position. And I think Almira is right. You drew the same question mark to the move bishop b5.
Yeah.
Almira saying, just a second, the Richter Rouser is a very, very difficult opening to master for either side. But the move that she just said, no,
and for all levels.
You can't play the move bishop b5. She just said, nope.
I always thought the Rouser was very difficult to comprehend. When do you take on b5? When do you play bishop b2? When do you play queen e1? When do you play rook g8 as black? When is the king on e7? When do you castle? Oh my god, there's so many things that you have to consider.
When do you play h5 or not?
When do you play h5? When do you not play h5? And I feel even GMs butcher the Rouser all the time. And you can see it right now. Lupulescu, a very experienced Rouser player himself, somehow he butchered his position.
Exactly. Bishop b5 came with bad timing, and we really liked queen e1 by Sasha very much. As you sidestep
that was a great move.
The d file to allow for the move rook d5, you also keep this knight on g3 for that half ply protected, and the moment he saw the move rook c8, abandoning the a file, that was when Sasha took his chance, doubled up, queen e2, and as have achieved the position they have on the board now.
And he actually agrees with you, doesn't play the move king a2, he plays the move rook h2, says nothing to worry about in that position with the move a2.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually threatening to take on d6, but we start to think about it.
Oh, yes, we do. And again, those moves, king a2, I think, a really great positional master would play the move king a2 and say, look, now my king is perfectly safe. And then the player is looking for just closing the show, goes, okay, rook d1, I'm not afraid. You're not going to get your bishop to the c3 square or your queen to the c3 square.
And that probably at this point is more of a matter of style than it is about which one is the most effective move. The more I look at it, the more I'm warming up to king a1, because actually there were so many situations in which taking on c2 could have been check. But we have questions, and
yes,
hopefully we
do.
get answers, as we have Christian with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Thank you, Alejandro. Yes, I'm here with MVL after what it was once again a wild affair between him and Fabiano. What's up with you guys? You always play some theoretical monster, juggernaut of games.
Fabi, is fighting player, so I like to play him. But I was happy until he told me right after the game that I had mixed up the move orders. So here, it goes rook g5 first, and
did you expect him to play this line?
I looked at this, but for some reason I thought rook g5 was not possible here, because of some rook e5. Just f4 there, apparently. So I just thought it's f4 right away from my memory, but my memory was faulty, and I realized that here, queen h6 was by no means forced. But I had to take it, and so apparently here is the moment. Knight d3 was a mistake. Queen f6. I don't know, for some reason I thought this was okay for me, but knight d3, knight d5. Yes, simply this now. Simply this way.
Just an easy way to open up the f
file. I'm not surprised that, once I know that this was a mix-up in move orders, I'm not surprised that this would lose for me. So I guess I can say I'm a little fortunate. I was a bit annoyed that I don't have anything better than making a draw, but I thought even if I start to push it a bit too much, like h4 I was considering, but there d2, and knight d2 you have queen e3 check, and this could get
first, and then potentially queen e1, so if you try to run away.
King h1, no queen e1, no, you can take on e5 first, and then take on h4, you're winning the knight.
You're winning the knight after queen h2, there's no way to...
this I assumed would be a draw, but, as I have zero chance of winning, I thought bishop f4 is much safer.
Absolutely. And what is your strategy for the next 3 games? Obviously, the tournament is not going your way.
Remembering my lines fully and accurately, this would be a good start. I thought I did today, but turns out I didn't, so there's still lots of work to do in that respect. I guess I calculated quite alright, and considering the difficult circumstances, and thinking that I was still, doing fine where I might not be, so we'll see what I can come up with tomorrow.
Awesome, thank you very much, Maxime. We're looking forward to see some more explosive games from you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Maxime. An honest man. I mixed up my lines.
Happens.
It happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Absolutely.
Better men. As we see, this is just dead. But,
of course.
But Levon is still trying to fight somehow. Hope against hope. Down 2 pawns, that's probably not even the biggest problem of his position at the moment, as his king is
Also exposed, as
pretty
we say.
exposed, yeah.
2 pawns in compensation for white as Shaq looks to put on the finishing touches here. I'm still kind of reeling because in such a heavy theoretical dispute, getting your move order wrong, it's remarkable MVL didn't lose.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do that and you're just immediately lost.
Like resign the
Yeah.
loss. Like this is not, I mean, it's just shamefaced.
Yeah.
Right?
And it always happens. Like, you look at so many variations as a grandmaster.
Right.
And before a game, especially when you play somebody like Fabiano, you prepare so many things, some Sicilians. You play the Rui Lopez, the Berlin, the Petrov. But at the end of the day, you have to remember what to do against all of them, even if they're very sharp. And mixing up your lines, it's such a terrible feeling because you know that you could have played anything, but you chose this sharp line because you know it, you've analyzed it, and you come to the board, you mix up the lines. And luckily for him, I think he didn't realize. And
it seemed like only until the very end was it revealed to him, like, hey, dude, you know you mixed up your lines, and then it says, oh my God.
But that actually gives you the confidence to play your game.
Sometimes
when you don't know,
ignorance is bliss,
ignorance
right?
is bliss. If you don't know, you still think you're fine. You play it like it's fine. And Fabi unable to find the killing blow because he knew that MVL mixed up the line, but he was unable to calculate. I think Fabi clearly off form in this tournament. It's not something that's common for him to be unable to punish such mistakes.
Exactly.
But he wasn't able to find it.
We do expect punishment. Speaking of which, Queen G8 in the game between Shaq and Levon. Has just been played.
Well, the king has to go up. Doesn't really matter where.
I suppose it doesn't, but let me just pick a square for the moment. King H6. Where is the actual follow-up?
I don't think you're mating, but you can probably play Queen
We're just
E6.
going to go Queen E6 check.
Yeah, the queen's probably better on E6. It controls the dark squares.
As opposed to, well, yeah, it's sort of like Queen E5 check. I wanted to just stop that move for just that half a second and force your king back.
I'm not really sure what I gained with this as white, but at some point I'm going to think about pushing my pawns if you don't have any checks.
Right, and the move Queen E6 is just duty bound to stopping this Queen E5 check. Again.
And he's done it, Queen E6.
Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Just 2 extra pawns. Easy technical victory there at Star Wesley. So Anish Gary after the move King F2. Okay. I think Wesley kind of heard us. It was time to get a little bit of space. Put his king side plus into motion. H4, H5, knight to d5, f7, f6, all on the board.
I like white. The knight on
We all
d5
like.
makes a strong impression. The bishop on b2 is not bad at all. I seriously think at some point I'll go g4, g5, and I think I don't care about breaking up my structure. You are very passive, unless you have a tactical resource. This bishop could become really powerful.
I also like g4, g5. It's funny, I'm thinking, do I need to prep it though?
That's
with
the thing.
move rook
Rook
g1.
g1. Rook g1 is a very tempting move.
Yeah, I must say, I think I would probably myself go in this direction as white because but let's go to Romania, and Christian is with Fabi. Fabi, and defend yourself.
Thank you, Yasser. Yes, I'm here with the world number 2 Fabiano Caruana after a very difficult game. Fabiano, you're one of the experts in this variation. I remember the first time I saw you play this. Was with the white pieces in 2016 against Onishchuk. Then you played it with the black pieces, then again with the white pieces. You're one of the experts in this variation. Take us through the nuances of it.
Well, this was just a ridiculous game. I mean, what can I say about it? The thing is, I played this line before in Rapid against Lanier. I mean, of course, he knew this and he was ready for this line. It's a very dangerous line for black. Also for white, of course, because white's king is extremely weak. But black is basically making only moves to not lose. Like, this was always considered much better for white until recently when it was discovered that this is actually playable.
Due to the evolving of the new computers, or?
Yeah, I don't think this is not really, let's say, this analysis can't be found, I don't think, over just by, let's say, the human mind. You have to involve some computers, and yeah, here he just mixed up. I mean, like when he played f4, I wasn't entirely sure if maybe it was some prep or something that I missed, because he has his rook g3, f5, which is, I guess, possible. But I had a slight feeling that he wanted to go for this line, which is rook g5, queen h6, f4, knight f4. And he just inverted the move order by playing f4 first, and f4 rook g5. And now I can transpose a queen h6, so there's no point to his move order for him. But,
So this being the main line, more or less, of the variation.
well, if I play queen h6, yeah, this is one of the very critical lines. So I realized that this is a strange move order, and I figured it was probably just a human error. I didn't think that this was some sort of alternative move order, so f5 was easy to play, and it was clear that white is in great danger here, maybe borderline losing, and I thought d4 was the most natural move. And here, okay, I burned a lot of time. It was like, this is his trick, you know, that after rook e3 he has bishop c4. Otherwise he just resigns. But bishop c4 wins. So this was the small trick, the point of d4. But anyway, it looked like this position is very, very close to winning for me. And my first idea was h5, but then I didn't. It also weakens my king a lot. Like it puts his queen in a vulnerable place because of knight h3 and potentially, but there's no clear follow-up. And then yeah, this was my other idea, but I failed to realize how strong it was. And then when I played knight d3, I started to wonder, like, yeah, and h5 is very important because now queen d3, knight e2 comes, and queen f1. So he would probably have to play knight d2.
I think this is what he was actually mentioning as well.
But then at least I can play knight d3, and this is, I'm definitely better in the game. And now I see that knight d5 is a move. Of course, it's very difficult to.
This is also what he missed. He did not.
Yeah, this move with this tactic I also didn't see. But at the very least, I think knight d3 is is much better for black. And it was also like, I was even thinking he could try knight d2 here, and then I was thinking I'll play queen f6, so it was kind of, because knight c1, knight e4 is, it's a bit of a mess, yeah. And I just, like, I thought this was a very good move. I just missed bishop f4, so I thought he would not be able to take, basically. I thought he would have to play knight d2, or bishop d2, or maybe some other move, like rook e4, knight f2, queen g2, but I didn't really believe in this for him. It's like not immediately obvious how I win, but like he can't really free himself, yeah. Although it wasn't clear to me over the board how much better I am. But yeah, then when I played knight d3, I realized he just has bishop f4. I'm honestly kind of lucky that I have queen h6 because otherwise, I guess it's still a draw, but it could be dangerous if he consolidates. And the bishop on e5 is just tremendously strong. And here it was a draw with, I think, like basically any move was leading to a draw. Like queen g3 is a draw, but bishop f4 is just finishing the game.
Obviously, a draw with the black pieces is never a bad result. Nevertheless, you did have some chances, and that must be a bit disappointing. What are your immediate feelings after this game?
Yeah, disappointed because it was a chance, basically, to win with black. An unexpected chance, I don't think. I mean, sort of an accident because it was just an opening hiccup from his side. Normally these things don't happen. Of course, sometimes it's very difficult to actually, like in this line, sometimes it's losing by force, but you have to find only moves. It's very common. But yeah, knight d3, missing bishop f4 was really kind of gross.
How do you feel about these theoretical duels you very often engage with Maxime? Are you happy with them?
Well, I think it's natural for us because we're both pretty principled players, especially him. He really sticks to his openings. I think he actually enjoys, for example, playing the Grunwald and Najdorf pretty much exclusively and trying to defend those openings. And with white, he just plays the most direct lines almost always. So you usually get a theoretical battle with Maxime, especially if you're like not trying to avoid the main lines with black. Then you usually get it. Actually, it would have been funny if he had played the right move order, because I'm curious what he wanted. Because, for example, there's this like absolutely amazing position where, yeah, I don't think you see this material balance often. White has a bishop and a queen for two rooks, but the king is in actually extreme danger. And sometimes the king ends up on like white's king ends up on c5 or d5 or b5. So it would have been fun to see what would have happened if it is, let's say, taken a more normal route.
Normal is a big word in this position. Fabi, thank you very much for joining us, and see you in the next few games.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Fabi. I'm really pleased with the players for being so honest. They butchered this opening.
They really did, and a big miss there by Fabiano Caruana not to be able to punish Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in this hiccup, as he called it, of an opening. So let's take a look at the current standings with only one game done so far. Fabiano Caruana joins Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, Wesley So, and Alexander Grishuk on 3 points, but do not be fooled. Many of these players, actually even all three, I think, have chances to jump by a full extra point. I like Wesley's position. I'm not going to claim he's winning, but I am definitely claiming that Levon Aronian is dead lost against Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, and that Alexander Grishuk has tremendous chances of also converting his advantage against Konstantin Lupulescu. So expect this table to be shaken up quite a bit. And as we wait for Levon's resignation, truly, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to leave you with a double header as we ask the players about the popularity of Queen's Gambit, and we also have a lecture for you about the weak center with Levon Aronian. We'll be right back.
In the past year, there's been an extraordinary boom in online chess. What do you contribute that to, and do you contribute any of that to the Queen's Gambit?
I think it did really a lot to promote chess, really a lot. I mean, it really helped our cause to show that chess can be a really game of passion. So I think this warmed the hearts of people and brought us closer to us.
Yeah, I think the series are amazing, and I think they're very close to what is really happening in the chess world, more or less, like on the professional level. I mean, due to the pandemic, we saw this kind of very unusual surge, which is really nice. I mean, I was very happy about it, and saw that so many players, so many people around the world, they came to play chess. In the pandemic, they didn't know really what to do. They tried to find new activities, hobbies and stuff, and they went to chess.
When people had the chance to check that out, to see the world of chess, they got hooked. And I guess the Queen's Gambit is one of the big catalysts there as well. But I wouldn't really... I'm not an expert on these things, but I wouldn't intuitively think that that's the only thing really that changed everything. But of course, it gave it a big boost as well, and a really big one, because all the people I know, even outside of chess, they've seen it. I have two sisters. One, she's still at school, and even her classmates, they've watched all the, But unlike her classmates, she knows a little bit about chess, so she knows that it's not going to be this easy just becoming a world champion. So she's like, yeah, I'll leave my brother to that.
I think it was a very good, very nice move, and people start to love again chess. In my country also I see many people start to play chess young, and there's also old chess players. Maybe somebody after 40 years they start to just play chess for fun.
No, I think it's a good thing, obviously, for chess as a whole, for chess players. Yeah, you can now